because I had no money left. I was completely flat broke, £600 a month, and I cleared my debt. 2023 is debt free. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to have you here. Miss Tanya. This year I'm kind of revamping my channel. I'm going to be talking a lot of finances, but I have just cleared £17,000 worth of debt. And guys, payment was made a couple of weeks ago in the new year. So 2023 is debt free. I'm so excited. So if you want to know how I've done it, stay tuned, because I have some real gems for you guys and it's really exciting. I've cleared the debt whilst I've still gone on holidays. I've bought my camera that you're watching this on now. I bought my MacBook. Could I have cleared the debt faster? Absolutely. But did I have other things I needed to buy? Absolutely. And by no means, this is a huge disclaimer right now, by no means am I saying you need to clear your debt ASAP. You should if you've got high interest, but I understand people have kids, people have a mortgage, people have house, they have to put a roof over their head, food has to be fed, the bills have gone up, you know, and I understand when a cost of living crisis. But the techniques that I'm telling you, I went through COVID, I was making £600 a month and I cleared my debt. So let me tell you, like, we can be in the trenches and we can still clear our debt. Okay, let's talk about how I accumulated this debt. So when I finished college, and I was about 19 because I did an extra year, and whilst everyone was applying for uni, I said absolutely not, it's not what I wanted to do. The process seemed ridiculous to me, which is just for me. Why am I paying to go to university? Made no sense. I said if I really wanted to go to university, I would do open university and I would start in the February, because they had a start date in February, which I did. I still was umming and ahhing. I thought, you know what, let me just do the 3 years. It will cost me £15,000 over £27,000 and I can easily pay that, not a problem, because £5,000 a year, if in real terms, because I was still living at home and I didn't intend on moving out, was like easy money, and I was still working full time, so it wasn't a problem, right? 15 grand, easy, whatever. Was I wrong? Because let me tell you something, I hated it. But in order to pay, because you have to pay the 5.5 grand a year up front, I take out a loan, which is what I did, because I weren't qualified to take out a student loan, even though I know people have taken out student loans at Open University. They just said no, which I'm glad. I am glad I did not take out a student loan for this degree, because I'd rather have gone through what I've gone through financially now than having to pay back a student loan over 30 years. And then I went to Jamaica for a month and I took out a credit card. I took out a credit card and took all the money out in cash. Don't ever do that. Don't. Big no. Massive mistake. So that was another £1,000 on top of the £11,000 I'd taken out for my student loan. That was, what, £12,000 right there? 12 grand. I had to move out, and then I lost my job because the manager threatened me several times. I spoke to the area manager, who said tough shit, and a different branch, and then some guy from head office said I was being unprofessional and wrote some massive letter. So all of these things, they were like, my manager at the time said, Tanya, you need to leave, like, otherwise they're gonna fire you. Thinking I've moved, and all the money I'm spending is my savings, which I had a lot of savings, but I had to pay rent, guys, and my car insurance, because my car insurance I was paying monthly, so all my expenses were about £1,200 a month, like with food and everything, my phone, whatever, £1,200 a month. And I had to consistently pay that until I couldn't pay it anymore, because I ran out of money. I had no more savings, from my deposit to the month's rent to, I think, 2 months in, and that was my money done, because I was also paying back debt. I also had money on my Very account, I had money on my Argos card, starting to dip into my overdraft. So my sister had to jump in and help pay for my car insurance, because that was the only thing that really needed paying. Because by this point I'd paid for my car to be MOT'd and serviced. Again, that's coming, all of this money is now coming out of my savings, because I had no money left. I was completely flat broke, completely. And I was selling my clothes and stuff to make ends meet. I was living off, like, I was like doing the bad things in the supermarket. If you catch my drift, you catch my drift, just to feed myself. I didn't have a choice. And I was literally, I'll never forget messaging someone I used to work with, being like, what meal do you think I can make for £1? Rice and stock cubes and sweet corn. I'll never forget, I'd eat that, like a whole bowl of that, just rice and sweet corn, because it was cheap. Anyway, so I ended up having to move back home, but I had arrears in my rent because I couldn't afford it anymore, because I didn't have a job. Thankfully, and mind you, in this time I had 4 attempts. Was it 5? 5 attempts. I think I only had one, I think only one when I moved home. Yeah, so 5 attempts. I'm alive. And then I got my diagnosis. So within those 4 months, a lot happened. I was in the hospital very frequently. I was not okay. I was very depressed. I'm not gonna cry because I've done a lot of crying. I've gone through a lot. I'm figuring out, what am I gonna do? Because I have all these payments, people sending me letters, thinking, I didn't know what to do. I was by myself, had no friends. No, like, my friends were like, I can't deal with one person, but we're no longer friends now. But she was there, but not really. She was there, she came to hospital a few times with me, like tried to help me make money, but it just got to the point where just everything collapsed on its head. And I had, like, she couldn't help me. What was she gonna do? She couldn't find £15,000 and just pay it off. I eventually had to say, like, listen, I don't know what else to do. And everyone's like, go to Citizens Advice. So I spoke to Citizens Advice. I spoke to them. They said, there are people that can help you. They're shit. I'm sorry, but let me tell you what they advised me to do. And this is the only thing that I wish I didn't do, but at the same time it's the only thing that saved me financially, which was I got an IVA. If you don't know what an IVA is, it's involuntary, quite now. I'll put the name here somewhere because I don't remember what it's actually called. But spoke to them and they consolidated everything but my Monzo, because I was not losing my Monzo account. I can't take out an overdraft in Monzo anymore, but maybe in the future I can, who knows. But I did not want to lose my Monzo account. It was the only account that I was so comfortable using, maxed out to my overdraft, which was £7.50, which I think now Monzo you can overdraft a bit more, which I don't recommend, don't do it. But between that and then the payments, I said I can't do it. So they consolidated my debt in my IVA, and I was paying back initially £165 every single month. In August of 2018, 19. Yes, because 2018 was a bad year, 2019, yeah. So I had then gotten a job. My mental health was so bad, I could only do part-time. I couldn't function like a human, throw myself back into work, because I knew how unwell I was, and I couldn't risk losing another job because of my mental health. I needed to be mentally strong to handle whatever bullshit they were going to throw at me, which they did. That's a whole different story. If you want to know about my situation at Pret, then you just, maybe I'll do a video with my friend, because we both work there, and legit, I'm going out to see him in a couple months. So listen, that'll be an interesting video. Anyway, they're part-time and I was making like £800 a month. I was working and I worked Monday to Friday. It was great. I was finished work by 2, really focused on my mental health. I started seeing a psychiatrist, was paying off monthly, thought everything would be great, fine, whatever, cool. Then the pandemic hits. Thank you to the pandemic. That was a whole big scam. So I was furloughed, so I was only making, actually no, I tell a lie, I was making my full salary, which was great, which I was able to still make my payments. I still kept making my payments, even if that meant I had no money left over at the end of every month, which I didn't. I made my IVA payment, my car insurance, my road tax, whatever, made all of that. I kept paying this until, no, and then obviously I got made redundant, and I said absolutely not. As I knew that redundancies were coming, I started looking for another job, which I did. I found another job. I won't go into it too much, but I kept making my payments. I ended up working full-time again, and then I did that for 7 months, and then we got put into tier 4, whatever that meant. They didn't fire me. I said fuck you people, that's it. Basically this owner, he can't even run a store. I'm sorry, he was terrible. But anyway, since I was 16, like, I worked my ass off. Yes, I worked in Pizza Express from 16 to 20, some shit like that. Then worked as a healthcare assistant, and let me tell you, that also brought in a substantial amount of money, and that's when my payments then went up to £185 a month in my IVA. And mind you, through this time I actually paid off Monzo overdraft, but one thing I hadn't paid off, no, let's backtrack, I also had to pay off my rent arrears. I haven't spoken about that. And the reason I didn't overpay my IVA was because I was paying my rent arrears, which was like 1,200 whatever, so I had to pay that off. That on £800 a month weren't gonna work. So when I say I had no money left, guys, I was like height on, I didn't buy nothing, guys. I didn't buy anything ever. I wouldn't think it now, considering I feel like I still have a lot of things, but at the time I was not spending money. Like, I wasn't frivolously spending, being excessive with my spending, which I think really saved me. And I have a spreadsheet, guys. I have an old spreadsheet and a new spreadsheet, and I will link the new spreadsheet down below. It's not my spreadsheet, but I'll help the company out. I love the break. If you know Patricia Bright, then you know. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't, and you need to get on. The link is in my bio. So I had to pay off my rent arrears, which is ridiculous because it was so much money and I was making so little, which is fine. It's fine. It was paid off, and then I paid it, and then they kept sending me letters saying you haven't paid it. I said, excuse me, the letter's here. They said it's not good enough. I said, the letter's here, take it or leave it. And I kept getting letters, and I kept saying I've paid it, which I eventually stopped getting letters. And you have to remember, during this time I've got things like sidetracked a little bit. Anyway, so I kept paying my IVA. I still was making significantly more, and I was saving that. And then from my healthcare assistant job, I got a new job, which I'm not going to speak about for safety reasons, because you know what, guys, people are vultures out there and they will get you fired. Don't share your job. Just don't do it. And I would love to share what I do because I'm really proud of what I do, but people are just horrible. This new job back in, I actually got the job February 2022, and now we're about to enter February 20, I think by the time you see this will be February, and it's been almost a year since I've got this job. And having a consistent income where I'm not focused on hours, not focused on like getting paid per hour, because my contracted is a salary, but I do shift work. Does that make sense? So I'm still doing set shifts, but I get paid a very consistent wage. I mean, this past month the tax man decided to tax me 2 arms and 2 legs savings, and paid off my IVA. I ended up paying in total like 15,000 out of the 17,000, which I'm okay to have written off because I don't know why, I don't know how it works. I think it's something to do with like taxpayers' money. Hello, I pay my taxes. I pay my taxes, so don't start. So that's how it worked. I'm very blessed to have it. So I paid off my debt, and I also have minimum worth of savings, which I'm very I had to pay off my CCJ. Paid. I don't even remember how I paid that. I literally saved all my money to pay off my CCJ, which could have been included in my IVA, but I said no. there's certain things I didn't put in my IVA for the plain and simple fact I knew I could pay it off, because I knew I could afford it. Not afford it, but I knew the amount of money that was coming in and how much I was spending, and I was living at home, so it made sense. And then I kept saving, so I was able to save a good chunk of money from my new job, saving more than half, still able to travel. I did so much overtime. I literally, my overtime probably has equated for about £10,000 like in itself, but that's me working my absolute arse off, you know, extra shifts on top of my already very demanding schedule. But I budgeted and I broke down. I'm paying this amount for my IVA, I'm paying this amount for my phone bill, I'm paying this amount for whatever it is. You know, I was still paying for the gym at some point, and then I cancelled it because it was ridiculously expensive. Like, I cut down at one point so much, but my expenses were still like £800. It was like making like 1,500 at some point, at some good points. You know, in the very beginning, like, I was making £600 during parts of the pandemic. It was hard. I'm starting 2023 debt free. Save budget. Why are we eating out? I'm not someone to eat out, to be honest. If you can't afford to order Uber Eats, then you cannot afford it. Minimalism. Become a minimalist. Don't go to B&M and buy your favourite thing. Don't go to Home Bargains and be like, oh, just this extra. No, don't. Stop it. Stop. Put your bank card away and don't buy it. Very important thing. And I personally, I don't think we get referral bonuses, but I'll leave one of the banks you do get referral bonuses. One is Revolut. Revolut is like Monzo. I have that for business, because like I said, this year, guys, this year, you think you've seen content from me, you haven't seen content from me. You're gonna see good quality content. You're gonna see great. I've got vlogs ready to go. I've got videos ready to go. Yeah, remember I said that. Remember. Anyway, let's not do that. It's, oh, you can't even see, but it's, nothing's on here. You can't see, never mind. No delivery apps. I could easily download it again, but delete it. Delete your delivery apps. Do it. Get Monzo or Revolut, or I think Starling do it as well, and open, like, have pots. Have your pots. All right, I have a pot for my next trip, so I'm going to the Scandinavian countries in a couple of months, so I've saved for that, and I've budgeted, and I've actually paid for it all already. I don't go for another few months, but I've paid for it. I want to go to Jamaica. I've got a pot for that. If you're say I want to go to Jamaica in probably about the next 6 months, put it in a fairly high interest savings account. Currently the interest accounts on your savings are fairly high. Take advantage. Stop putting it, like, if you're doing for long term, don't put it in a pot, put it in an interest savings account. But for me, my food budget, let me show you my food budget, which I'll put a screen record because it might be better, but I have different pots for different things. I get paid, I put it into those pots, and then every week so today's, like, I'm filming this on a Monday, I've taken out 30 quid, that is my money for the week, £30 for a week. And if when I'm finished with that, if I finish it, like, if I have any money left over, I will put that into another pot, and that's for my next flight. That's what I'm currently doing for my next flight, because I don't really care about the hotel. As long as I've got the flight paid for, we're good to go. The next few days I'm going to be doing content. I'm at home, and then I go back to work, and I don't spend money at work, because when I do night shifts, there's nowhere to spend money. Take your lunch to work. Stop it. Stop ordering at work. Stop going to the cafe. Make your food at home, and it doesn't have to be boring. Last week I made a roast chicken. One day, 2 days, I had mashed potatoes for a couple days, rice with a couple days, avocado, whatever. I did a food shop, and I ate my food at work. Bought some snacks, and everyone's like, Tanya, you're always cooking, you're always eating your own food. Yeah, because I'm not spending money on these Uber Eats. Do something, guys. this year, like this year is about making the bag. I'm traveling this year, but it's hard, and it's hard to do it all. Like, guys, if I did it going through severe mental illness, in a really shitty living situation, obviously I'm grateful to not have to have paid rent, but it just destroys my mental health. Like, no friends, family ditched me, like, I've gone through it and I still managed to become debt free. Luckily I've had help in terms of, if I need to borrow £300 from my sister tomorrow, I could ask her and she'd lend it to me. I always pay people back. I don't owe no one nothing. Who am I owing money to? I make my own money now. I owe money to myself, like I said earlier. I owe money to my blood clot self. Don't start with me. So if you like this video, I'm too much my own good. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. What are we doing? We're growing in 2023. If you know, you know. And we're about growth on this channel. You better subscribe. So enjoy, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it helped you. Hope you understood my journey and how it was, you know, going from this to this and this to this, and it was not linear. We had the pandemic. I hope you guys understood my journey and can apply some things to your journey. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in, I'm doing a lot of hand movements. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.